You know what it is, man. It's your guy, Rhett Butler, and this is that pretty left hook hitting you in your goddamn liver. Full man, listen. Today I got my man straight from B-More. You talk about the wire. He talks about the jungles. This man had been all over Thailand, all over Laos, all over Southeast Asia. Why? To figure out how to be the real ultimate fighter, not the manufactured. Listen, I ain't gonna get into that because we're gonna get into that. Coach Dorian Price is in the building, man. What's good, D?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man? How you doing, man?
Blessed to know the best, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man, because obviously we got a long history, but
Absolutely.
the beautiful thing is you still don't give a fuck. That's the most
Nah,
important about this. You've been the same dude from day one.
yeah, man. You gotta stay consistent, man. Consistency is key, man.
Yes.
Consistency is you can't switch up on people, man. You know what I mean? And then cats from the Charm City, man. We stay the same, man. Sometimes it ain't always the best, but we consistent and loyal, man. It's the
Facts.
DMV, Baltimore. It's that. That's how we do,
Yes.
man.
You already know I'm a DMV transplant by way of New York, man. Uptown, you know how we go. But
I know.
I want to get right into this because you got the most unconventional journey that's still rolling, still unraveling. And you're an advocate for the fight community that a lot of people don't talk about, that's not popularized in mass market and media, so to speak. But it's
Mhm.
there and it's real and it's relevant. And everybody doesn't know that you the secret that the Matt Browns come to from the UFC, that a lot of other people that everybody know about come to the UFC. But beyond all that, talk to me about the fact that you decided while on your UFC journey to go over across the water to the jungles to learn that real Muay Thai with the Thai people and
Mhm.
how that was for you, man. And what led to that decision making as a Hampton University graduate, master's degree from University of Ohio. I mean, you got
Right.
it. You got everything you need to be an executive
Yeah.
here, or just go a straight major fight route in the States. What made you decide to go in a whole other direction?
Well, we all got to chase our dream, man, and we got to stay consistent and do what make us happy, man. You know, I'm always a fan of the UFC. It always has a place for me because that time on the Ultimate Fighter, that stint allowed me to, or it opened doors actually for people to recognize me and my Muay Thai for what it's, coming from Baltimore. Also, my family preach loyalty. Loyalty is important. So with a guy like Matt Brown being in the organization, the guys I trained, it also allowed me to kind of showcase my talent, with Matt doing his thing and everything. So I'm always going to have be a fan of it. But for me, it was about chasing my passion. And my other brother, Devin, and we had another brother named Kevin, and he passed away. So he was playing basketball, real talented. I don't know if you remember, it was called the Charm City Classic.
Oh
I
yeah.
was down in, yeah, I was down at VA Beach, Hampton Roads area, and I was training in Virginia Beach. And I remember he had a game against I forget who the guy's name the kid was, but number one player in the country, and he just dropped 40 on him. So
Yeah.
everybody was talking big things about him, whatever. And then it was right after they changed the rule where you couldn't enter the draft no more out of high school. You had to do a year. So he went down to Florida to a JUCO and died in a car crash coming back. College coach, some coach gave him a call. Well, you know how they go. Enticing them, you know how they do these young kids. And I remember when he was there, we would be flipping in this the VHS days, interchanging the VHS, like, hey, when you in Thailand, I had already done a stint in Thailand as a teenager for a little hot second. And we would just go back and forth, like, hey man, one day when you over there, you gonna go back, you gonna be fighting. I'm gonna be in the NBA, we gonna do this and this. So really, it was to fulfill my dream to him. So the whole time I was doing MMA and the UFC, and it started because I went to Ohio. There was no Muay Thai. So I ended up meeting guys like Kevin Brandon and Mark Coleman, and they got me into MMA. I was like, I just wanted to fight because it was something that I needed for me. And also I had the dream, but I never expected it to take off like that. It was only 4 years from start to Ultimate Fighter to the UFC. It was only a 4-year career from
Wow.
getting from inception of doing MMA to the uh the UFC. But the whole while in my mind, and this is something I never told anyone. Like now I'm able to talk about it because it was very traumatizing. You know what I mean? You lose a brother. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
hard, man. It's just somebody you love. It's hard for you. So I wanted to just make sure I fulfilled my promise. So the whole while when I got to the Ultimate Fighter, I never really took serious. A funny story is I fought my whole MMA career left-handed because I just wanted to experiment. I'm right-handed, but I fought it left-handed because striking level wasn't as high as the quality of striking like it is now. The game's evolved, but I was just like, well, shit, man, I'm just gonna have some fun, work on being left-handed. And yes, when I got to the Ultimate Fighter, it wasn't the whole time I was in there, I was like, man, I don't need to be here, man. This ain't my dream. This ain't passion for me. Like, what am I doing, man? I need to go back to where my heart is and everything like that. And then it's like when you get behind the curtains too on a lot of things, you start to see what it really is.
Facts.
And that can sour you. Like, oh man, this ain't what I wanted. You know, I just want to fight. I don't care about nobody. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to fucking have these cameras in my face. I damn sure don't want people delving into my fucking life. I just want to go out there, commit legal acts of violence, and be left the fuck alone when it's over. But I didn't realize there was the show part to it. So going to Thailand, I realized there's no show. They just appreciate the craftsmanship of the violence you can do. I was like, this is for me. This is perfect. All they want to do is like release me, let me commit my act of violence. When it's over, back to the camp. Everybody, you go back your own way. You win, you lose, you draw, you go back, you start for the next thing. The cameras ain't in your face and all this other stuff. So that's kind of like the whole story. I know it's long-winded with it, but that's kind of what it was, man. I had to fulfill and keep a promise and make sure, you know what I mean? And that was more important than money.
I actually never knew that story myself. That's crazy.
Yeah. Because it's the same, man. Like, you can always say, because I remember people would ask, like, man, you're going to go, you know, why don't you do this? I guess I was considered a character. They really liked me on there as a personality on the show. Right. You know, that's what it's about. And they were like, why don't you do this, this, and this? Like, y'all don't understand, man. This ain't my dream. But I never said it because, you know what I mean? I didn't want to speak on it because at the time I wasn't right mentally and everything. I still was trying to come to grips with things, you know, and I was like, it was a funny thing. I was like, yeah, I could have sold my soul, but I remember somebody said a long time ago, the price you sell your soul, when it's sold and you want it back, the price ain't going to be the same to get it back. And you might not be able to afford that price to get it back.
X.
So my soul was never for sale. And I think a lot of times, sometimes it caused me trouble. But at the end of the day, man, you know what I mean? I still got to live and die with my integrity and my code.
Yeah, that's real talk, man. And first and foremost, rest in peace and rest in power to your brother. That's crazy. Well, in doing all of this, man, you wound up having like a crazy experience in Thailand. I want to go first to the fight experiences and then the cultural ones. And for those who've seen past Pritty Left Hooks, we kind of went into a little bit on your last time being on the show. But I want to talk a little more drilled down. Like I want to start right at a pinnacle moment instead of going through the whole journey. Obviously there's a huge moment for you that went viral, the double knockout. And I want to kind of talk about, for you as a fighter, what it's like to go through, number one, a moment like that, the lead up to that, what you were looking for in that moment. And then when you connected and he connected, did you realize that was happening? Was it just straight lights out and then you just came to quicker because you ultimately got the victory and got up before the other guy? But talk about a double knockout moment and what that's like in real time, man.
It happened so fast. And to be frank, perfectly honest, I was already knocked out well before that moment happened. So I was fighting, what people see is I was fighting on instinct and just heart, because I remember maybe 30 seconds in, and after that, everything else was a blur because he hit me with something. So I don't honestly even remember getting to the point of the double knockdown because I was just moving on autopilot. So it was kind of a rare thing. I remember when I got knocked down, a funny story. I tell Devin this. I don't know if Devin believed me or not, but I'm like, man, I heard Kevin saying, just get up, man, get up. No, the brother. And he was like, Devin, I don't know if he believed me, man. I love Devin. But you know what I mean? I was like, man, that's just funny. I heard that. And just something got up because it's a weird moment. You're out. And I don't really remember. I remember standing up, and it just so happened I was in the red corner. So I got knocked down, and we both got knocked down in the corner I was in, which ironically was a blessing in itself because that was the corner of Thailand. So I represented Thailand. The red corner is the corner for Thai. And so to have that honor was like a big, like, culmination of all my time and struggles there. So I just remember looking down, looking over. I looked at him and looked over at the corner, and I seen people raising their hands, and I was like, oh shit, man, let me raise my hands. just so ironically, I won. Imagine if I would have lost and I raised my hands. That's the only reason I raised my hands. Then I finally came through in it. I was like, oh shit, I really won this shit. But after that, I kept asking. I kept going. I remember going in the back, and the first thing I was like is I sit down and they're taking my gloves off and they're taking my hand wraps off, and I'm thinking to myself, oh shit, I lost, because I didn't remember what happened. They're like, no, and there was a screen, a TV in the back. They're like, watch this. And I look and I was like, oh shit, I won. That was pretty cool. Right. And then it kept happening. I didn't remember that I was concussed. And I remember riding back, because this is what I love about Thailand. You get to the fight, we took a scooter to get back to the camp. There's no glamorous things about it. And I love that. Love that environment. And I remember kept tapping my buddy who was riding the scooter. I was like, hey, the stadium's that way. Why are we going? Like, I was like, I got a fight, because I thought we still going to the fight. I never realized it was over. He's like, hey man, the fight. So people say that you don't remember. The first thing you're thinking is, oh fuck, I got knocked out.
Right.
And I would tap him. He's like, no, bro, you did good. And so that lasted for like a couple, like at least like an hour or so after. I just can't remember, like periodic. I'm like, hey, what time we going to the fight? And they're like, the fight's over. And they're like, you won, man. And so that's the thing that people don't see a lot of times, is like the kind of, you know, you lose a little bit of that moment in time, and it can concussive blows from that, because, you know, I just never remembered. I remember kept asking. So when I see it, obviously I know what happens because I've seen it over and over again, but technically I don't remember being there too much. I remember the start of the fight. I remember throwing a couple of things, and the rest of it is just a blur to me. Like, I know what happened because I've seen it, but like I said, I don't remember being there.
So I got to add
that certain.
This is coming for all the people that watch the show that don't fight. Why do it if you know that some of the risks or the fact that you might have short-term memory loss, and things of that nature?
Because we wake up every day, man, and you know, I'm sure you know, I know. I mean, there's people that go to the store and don't come home. You know, you wake up every day, man. Look, every day we wake up, man. We waking up. It's a gift, man. Because especially, you know, it's unfortunate, but in urban communities, there's a lot of kids waking up, don't make it past 15, 14, 16. Do you know what I mean? We don't know when the Grim Reaper coming to knock on our door. So we can live a life in fear and want comfort, or we can live a life like, you know, when I hang this phone up with you, this could be a wrap for me. We never know when the Grim Reaper coming to knock on our door, man. So you got to live it to the fullest.
Facts. Yeah, man. It's interesting because now obviously you got, you know, your pupils like Matt Brown, and then I saw the thing with Anthony Smith and Dean Thomas, other coaches talking about your greatness as well as fighters, even Joe Rogan on his show. So how does it feel being one of the most known unknowns in some way, right? Like, people in the game know you, and then the fans, if they follow and pay attention to who's teaching the people to have these amazing Muay Thai clinches and such, they know who you are. But how does it feel, number one? I'll start with the first part. How does it feel, number one, to be so revered by the community, the fight community, both in the States and globally?
It's a blessing, man. It's like it's what we all wanted. And I remember before my brother passed, all he wanted to do was be respected. It's like, man, I want to be the best. And Baltimore has such a history of basketball. Like, man, I just want to be recognized as one of the best. And I don't know if you remember Bob Wade. He used to be a Maryland coach, Bob Wade. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he came out, said something in the newspaper like he's one of the best. You know, now, unfortunately, he got his flowers too late. He wasn't there to receive them. And that's unfortunately a lot of cases. So for me to, you know, we all want to be respected by our peers. I don't give a fuck about, you know, not saying the fans aren't important, but I don't really care who outside the game people think about me. But the warriors inside, that means more than anything to me. You know, for them to respect my craft, to respect the fact, you know, also the fact that I maintain a certain code, ethics, and honor, you know, going through this game, that means a lot. With Matt, you know, a lot of it, I think I wouldn't be where I am. I owe a lot to Matt Brown, because he, you know, we all need the vessel for our knowledge to be given, you know, and just like I've helped, like I tell people, it's funny. I don't really consider myself Matt's coach. I just really consider myself as he's my friend, and I happen to be his friend that has a particular skill set that helps him in his career and make some money because of the skill set I possess. And over the years, he's helped me develop my clinch because he's allowed me as he grew, I gave him a basic template to clinch and everything. And as he was growing, he was able to get in the rooms that I couldn't get into. And what I mean by that is he would be able to get into the Olympic Training Center for wrestling. He would take me with him. From being there, I would start looking and watching the training, maybe get to delve in some of these guys' minds and ask them and start picking it and say, okay, the clinch. So we clinch like this. Well, the Thai clinch, and Matt and I would show, and then they would start saying, well, that's like wrestling. You could do this. Or I would come back because he would always fly me back from Thailand, providing I didn't have a fight or anything like that.
Right.
And he would get me to the rooms, get me around judokas and things like that. And, you know, so we would always constantly be working on the different clinches. Like, okay, well, in Thailand, you can do this. But if I do this for MMA, this might happen. So like, let's play with it and see. We would get in times, we would just clinch sometimes to see who gets tired first. You know, our clinch sessions were legendary. Them things would last like 2 fucking hours, just straight, no time. Because he's a savage and I'm a savage, and we feed off of each other, and you gotta have that sort of relationship.
Oh yeah.
I guess to go back to your question, for a guy like Dean, who obviously is one of the original, you know, brothers in the game,
right,
and like a mentor, OG in the game, Anthony Smith, a guy that I have the utmost respect for, who's a real Lionheart for real. For them guys like that to give me credit, like, I don't think they can understand how much it means for me to get my flowers now, because while I'm above ground, because I really dedicated, like, I've been doing this half as long as I've been breathing. And I think my whole path as a fighter and everything was always set on the course to become a teacher, because I come from, like, most of the women in my family were school teachers. So I think it's just in my blood, and I tried to fight it forever, not wanting to be a coach or teacher. So for people to recognize it, it does mean a lot to me, a whole lot. Because this is what I like to do. I really make all the sacrifices. I mean, you think of other people when they have some guys, they go home to their wife, their girlfriend. Other people go to to maybe they work, maybe they have kids, whatever. I come back to the sport. You know what I mean? This is my life.
Right.
Like, to the point where I don't really have. I'm institutionalized in the art in the art of combat. That's all I do is think about different ways to help people get paid for inflicting violence on another human.
Absolutely. What do you think about MMA as it is right now? I mean, you and me obviously have some pretty defined opinions in relation to, you know, the way Black folks are treated in the game. You know, there's no Black executives in MMA. Me having worked in the UFC, I've seen so many racial situations that went down.
Hey, you gotta tell that story about how we took that van that time to the joint.
You set it off. Go ahead, set it off.
All right. We in the UFC, so Rhett was, you know, running all the backstage and everything, and all the fighting, and he know everybody. And so, event coordinator, legendary in that. So during this tenure at the UFC, I remember one show, and we was like, "Hey man, look, he had the van. We hired each other. Like, hey, look, man, we going to the joint, the club, the strip club."
Hey yo,
he was like, "All right, meet me down here, such and such." I think my fighter was cutting weight or something. Man, we rolled the fucking to the strip club in the UFC.
Hey yo,
what city was that?
I think it was Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. We did it twice. Vegas.
We did it twice. I know we did it once in Baltimore, and then we did it somewhere else. It was either Vegas or Ohio, or we was somewhere, but
I think it was Vegas, because I think it was ended up being a Spearman Rhino.
Oh yeah. Okay. So for y'all who don't understand, Spearman Rhino is a premier strip club in Las Vegas. Okay, this is really spending big bread. Okay, you go in there, you know, you might see Mike Tyson in there. You definitely might see Dana White in there. Pardon me, but I've seen him in there a few times. And yeah, I used to, you know, frequent these places pretty frequently when I was young. You know what I mean? I was outside. And yeah, you know, if you give me the keys, some titties. I mean, what do you want?
I don't think the UFC to this still know where them bands were going, boy. We was out.
We was outside.
In the UFC,
you know, Probably put something in the air. It's legal now. We can talk about this.
Oh, we was in the van. You know what I mean? Aired it out.
Listen, aired it out. You know, this air fresheners are for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like we made it happen. But
pick up the fighters the next day. They had no idea.
Oh yeah. So you know, Dana White, thank you, dog. The Reynolds came in clutch. And that per diem, baby. Yee!
Oh, the per diem.
Got him.
Oh, the per diem was gold.
And that per diem helped a lot of young ladies, man. Thank y'all, man.
Hey,
you want to get a funny story about that? After the Ultimate Fighter, we go out to the Spearmint Rhino, this joint. We all go out there and we get a bunch of chips. I forget how much, but it's a lot of money in chips, right?
Yeah.
So me being from Baltimore, I was like this. I was like, somebody was asking, I was like, now I wasn't familiar with everything. I was like, whoa, what I'm supposed to do? They said like, oh, this is like money. I said, word? How much is it? And they was like, oh, well, this one is such and such. I said, yo, I might have $1,000 worth of chips. And it was another, I ain't gonna say his name. One of the coaches was a good dude, so he gave me his chips. I was like, I worked the deal out with one of the strippers. I was like, look, shorty, I don't really need no dance. What I do need is for you to cash these motherfuckers in.
Man.
And we gonna split it.
Hey,
yo.
He was pimping.
Huh?
That's love. He was pimping.
I rolled out. I was picked up when I was like, look, I was like, I don't care about the dance. What I do need for you to do is, look, I need you. So what we did is we went back in the thing. In the room, I was like, she started dancing. I was like, nah, shit, I don't care about the dance. What I do need is figure out, like, so look, you cash this shit in. So I'm like, here's one for your dance. Now let's work this deal out. You gonna cash it in, come around there and slide it to me and take a little percentage. Sure enough, hell yeah,
man. Hey,
extra money. Statute of limitations over.
Did,
so
man, I was on shenanigans. I should have been thinking.
Yeah, man. Hey, I should have been thinking more, hustling more, but whatever, man. Hey. Statute of limitations over, so what they gonna do?
Not a damn thing. Yo, we had big fun. And it's so funny you mentioned that, man, because people don't understand. Everybody gets caught up in the fight hype.
Yeah.
Play-ins, the fight, whatever. People talking shit at the press conference. Nobody understands behind the scenes during that fight week, yo. So first of all, for those who don't understand, coaches be bored. Like after they got whatever times to get the guy to do whatever, coaches be bored as hell. They in a city, ain't nothing really cracking off it is. They ain't got no vehicle or, they, you know what I mean? There's just all this downtime in between.
I don't even think Uber was around back in them days.
Who?
Uber. I don't even think Uber was around.
Was definitely not around.
Yeah.
It was Uber not around. It wasn't even like Instagram and all that, bro. Like we was early.
Yeah.
Like, we was early. So thank God, by the way, because we would have been probably in trouble. But,
oh, man,
you know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that to say, I would be busy, but they would keep me so busy. The first thing I want to do is let off some steam, and it'd be right around that time, a person like Dorian be like, yo, what's good though? Ain't nothing cracking out here when we're getting into it. I'd be like, oh, I got a call right now. We can go right now. Let's go. And we would get it cracking. So it was always a good time because I always kept some trees on me.
Hey, yo.
You know, the fight week is for the fighters, you know. So once you monitor your fighter, you've done everything you're supposed to do, you know, you check on them. You're going to be a time, especially that point after the weigh-in is completed to the next day of the fight. They now rehydrated. So, you know, up until that point, you got to kind of keep your eye on them, be around them. Right. You know, especially I was hands-on, so I would go, when I was young, I was able to sit in the sauna with them, do these other things. Right. But then that Friday fights on that Saturday, once that weigh-in's over, you got free time. They're going to want to, you know, they can eat if they, you know what I mean? They rehydrated, so you don't have to keep so much of their eyes on them. So at that point, you like, look, man, I just want to go. I want to let some steam off. They can't go there. They keep their eyes on the prize. Right. But the coaches spent that whole, because they fly you out on the Tuesday, you done spent that whole week just sitting there being like, that's what I tell people, being like a
babysitter.
Like,
you're a babysitter. You're a babysitter.
You on bitch duty. They need you to run to the store. You got to run to the store. You need them for real. Real talk. They need to run to the store. You got to do it, man. It ain't no bitch in the morning. That's what you're supposed to do. Right. They need you to get something, call somebody, go here, go. You doing that the whole time. You carrying their bags. That's part of one of the things I think makes me different in that game. Is that like I accepted it. I was like, I know how it is also being a fighter. I was like, yo, give me your bag. Where you need me go? I gotta run to the store. It was never that, oh, you sending me on these errands. I was like, yo, where you need me go? I'm on it. So like they said something, especially with Matt, he was like, hey, I'm jumping, I'm doing it. This is what you got. What you need? You need me to run where? Okay, boom, I'm there. And then so once you done all that, Friday's kind of like, all right, cool. We got to do, we made the task complete. Boom.
Right.
I got to let off some steam, especially, in the younger days, I was a little wild and shit. I probably still am wild, but less. But, you got things. So
Yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah. Man, it was crazy. And it's funny because the one thing I love, I'm gonna speak about the UFC, but also just in general. One thing I really loved, man, was that the brothers always find each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I always connected with certain black athletes and coaches, and then we make these lifelong relationships and bonds because you could be on a big level. Like, I never did small fights outside of like the fights we did with Shine, which I'm not even gonna say is small. We did medium to large size fights, but the fact that I started kind of at the highest level, UFC, Don King, Showtime, HBO, and then meet folks like yourself and everybody else. But when we get there, we always find each other. It's like you find your tribe in the game. And we all created like a little ecosystem for real on the low of support. You know what I mean? Yo, if I had the whip, yo, Rhett, can we make a move? All right, we make a move. Yo, what's up with this? Yo, what's up with that? Or behind the scenes, dressing rooms. Like, we kind of always knew what it was and took care of each other. And I feel like people don't understand that shit. Like, all they see is what the promoter wants them to see to sell the event. People have no idea. Like, there's a whole like family vibe going on, vibe culture. You know what I mean? Behind the scenes.
And back in them days, it wasn't many, and it was before. It was like being an exclusive club from the people working there. Everybody knew your name. They see you a bunch of times. Like, I mean, as from my little tenure as a fight in there, it's like you part of an exclusive club. Now I didn't have it was a quick boom in and out, but even that when I started coaching, coming back with Matt and them and the other guys I was coaching, coming out with George Giselle and stuff, team, it was like you was part of an exclusive club. It wasn't like it is today. Like, everybody knew everybody. You pretty much knew everybody's name on the roster. Coaches knew everybody.
Right.
Even Joe Rogan, he was more accessible.
Hell yeah.
Much more accessible. Joe was out there. It's not hard to get to Joe. You see him all the time. You used to see him at at the after parties or at the at the event. You could go up to him. Dana was accessible. This is back when he had Mike Goldberg.
Right. Word.
Shout out to Mike. Accessible. Now it's turned into a business, and rightfully so. But it does feel a little weird when you go in there and it's like that sort of corporate thing. Because, man, we got some stories. I don't know how deep we can go in there, but we was like running espionage throughout there.
Man, we can do whatever we want. But I'm gonna tell you, because I haven't been around the new UFC. So anytime I go to the new UFC, I'm acting like the media or something. So I only see from the front end, and then the people I know in the back will take me to the side. Yeah, it ain't the same. But I don't even know what it's like. It just looks like it's real stale. Like, before, that shit was like a family. Shit was mad different. Now it just looks like it's just straight about a check.
It's a business. It's not corporate. It's very corporate. Like I see that with even the law, with the way they run the kits, everything is like corporate. There's no more. I don't even think there is a per diem at the last fight. I don't know if there was or what. I don't know. I mean, I hope there was, and I hope Matt kept it so he could get some extra money. But I wasn't tripping. But like, you go in there, when you go for the kid, it ain't like like it used to be. You remember, like, I can hit you up, like, hey man, let me get some. I got a friend. Like, I remember if you could leave tickets for somebody in another state, and be like, hey, my ticket's gonna be a will call, or yo, I got to hook up on the ticket. If I had a friend. I think you hooked me up with this a few times. I was like, hey, my man gonna be in Vegas, or he got some people. Can you hook him up with some tickets?
Right.
And he had the tickets to call. It ain't even like that no more. Now I think you got to be there. The fighter has to be with you, accompanied with you. It's a strict business. Now, even after the fight's over, you can't even go back in the arena and watch the fights. They don't have seats for you. You have to sit somewhere else and watch them.
Wow, you serious?
Yeah, I remember it was in Charlotte when the fight's over. Because I think back in the day, you was allowed to go back in the arena. They had seats for you. Now, when it's over, you can't even go in the arena and watch, like, the fighter can't even go in the arena. At least that's how it was the last one I was Charlotte. Like, it's over, boom. Here, they only let you stay in the locker room. And remember how everybody used to be in the locker room all together? You had you got to go in there. They bust you individually. So you get there, then they'll say, all right, we got a holding room. So if there's more people in the locker room, it'll be a holding room. You'll wait. The next fighter go out. You'll come in there. So it'll be you and maybe another team in there. Because I remember when Anthony was fighting. Now, normally the main event and the Coleman, they got their own little special situation. Yeah. So in our locker, and I think it was in the same locker room we was in. So when Matt got done, they escorted us back through all so he could do his press and his little his media stuff or whatever. And I remember I was like, well, shit, it's Anthony here, man, because I want to go because Coach Mark Montoya, people I got hired.
Shout out to Mark Montoya, that's my man.
Awesome guy. And so I was like, hey, y'all got to let me back there because I got to, one, I got to pay respects to Coach Mark Montoya, and two, I want to say good luck to my man right there, Anthony Smith. Right. That's my guy. So I was like, let me go back there. So they escorted me back there and said, you know what I mean? Then Matt, he went back there, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's not even like we all in the same locker room no more. They got like times. You go, you leave. It's like, so the networking ain't what it was back in because back in the day, like, everybody knew everybody. You was making contacts, connects. Now, boy, that thing is like a well-oiled machine. Get in, boom. You done your job. Go on over here. You done. Get your money. Go to.
What about the training rooms during fight week? Like, they still got the training rooms in the hotel?
They do got the training rooms. They still got them set up. They got some. In some ways, some things are running a little bit more efficiently. Some things, it ain't the same. You know what I mean? So, like with everything, there comes good and the bad with evolution. Sure. But they still
because we used to put everybody in a vans because they wasn't spending the kind of bread they spending right now. Right now, not to giving y'all chauffeurs and all that.
Before no.
Blue corner over there, red corner in that one.
Yo, people, there's no more vans. Remember how they would be like, right. yo. Remember when you got there before? They would have a scheduled time. So you want the whole. You got the van run leads at this time. So if you want to get your going here, you going there. Because they got the PI now, so they give them their food. So when you get there, they're like, okay. That's food. So I'm picking up the bag of food. This is what he got to eat for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever. They got it all set up for him. All right, Matt got to do this. They got the sheet for you. This is where you do your interview times. There's no more van. The van service is deaded.
Wow.
It might have got wind of us like running the vans to the ground.
At least we got them for spearmint rhinos. Got them. And I'm not sorry either. That shit was great. Thank you.
No, I ain't apologizing for that.
Man, amazing, man. We're going to do this more often, man. Before we get up out of here, your pupil is right now going through a war of words with Conor McGregor. What's going to happen with this, man? These guys want to fight each other or what? I mean, I don't even think they're in the same weight class. I think Conor once went to 170, but we all know he's Mr. Glass right now. He's breaking a lot.
Hey, yo.
I mean, what's going to happen from this? Right now they talking trash on Twitter. What's going to happen with this?
Nothing. I don't think Conor went to smoke. And also, too, when he texted, when Conor sent that, you got to just look at the time. Conor's texting the prime coke hours. So it's he coked out. I'm like, look at the hours, man. He texting like, I know about that business. He texting the prime coke hours, man. So he ain't serious, man. He don't mean it. Like, he just keeps putting something out there, man. I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, what would they say? Cocaine, a hell of a drug, man. And he living it to the fullest.
Oh, my God.
Now, for my brother, Matt, I would love nothing more for him to get that fight, get that 14th knockout, get that as it's kind of say that red panty night, man, and get that bread, man. But
yes,
I don't think Conor's gonna make a return. And honestly, nor should he, man. He's silly and he's fooling himself. Right now, he just looking stupid. He needed money, and he did. This is a sport of wolves, man, and hungry lions, man. And he made a lot of bread. And he running around there doing all the other things. He need to get out before he get hurt. I don't think he fight anybody. I think he's just suffering from what we all suffer from when it realizing our career coming to an end. It's like we can't let it go. We always got to get that one more. It's that drug. We got to get that other It's like we chasing that dragon, but
Right.
and you know, we got to get that fight. We got to get that. Conor ain't doing nothing, man. He over there just texting during prime coke hours. People got to start looking at the text time. That's coke hours.
Yo, I ain't know Coke had a schedule like this, man. Cocaine. It's like he clocking in for Coke time.
Man, he clocking in big time, man. Golly, boy. He got the plug on speed dial, man. Golly.
Oh my God. Last question, man. Are we gonna ever see Dorian Price again in a ring, a cage, anything involving you punching somebody in the face?
Man, I really want to, but it's hard now, man. I mean, right now I'm happy you know, coaching and being able to share my craft. I do think of stepping out. My one regret is not fighting Lithway like my brother Cyrus Washington did, because I'm dying to try and headbutt somebody. But it's a hard pill to swallow, man. Especially I'll get back to Thailand and you know, and I'm sitting there, you know, but right now it's pretty cool, man. I'm being down here at Master Lloyd's, man. I'm learning a lot of knowledge, man. Master Lloyd is an OG, man. Brilliant.
Master Lloyd, Howard University graduate, like your boy, man. We outside.
There we go. All right, I'm gonna get that to y'all. HU though, you know, Hampton, you know, home.
Listen, half my family went to Hampton and half went to Howard, so we got that.
You wanna know what's funny about that since we won that, man?
Yeah.
I always got more love from the Howard girls, man.
Of course.
Every time Howard homecoming, I always got more love, man.
But I'm gonna give you all because
look.
Yeah.
Hey, I bagged the girl that was like the locks was going at.
Oh, salute. That's what's up. Salute. Well, I'm gonna give you your props because I used to go to Hampton homecoming. Y'all got I went to Howard. Y'all got the badder chicks. I'm gonna give it to y'all. Straight up. Y'all got the
both.
Howard, you say that. Howard chicks are bad, but Hampton chicks are badder. You know what I'm saying?
Hampton has some beautiful women, but for whatever reason, I would get mad love at Howard and quiet as kept Norfolk State. For whatever reason, maybe rough around the edges for the Hampton girls. I don't know, but they were drop dead gorgeous, man. But yeah, man, I loved Hampton. I loved Howard. I love all my HBCUs, man. To be honest, man, you know, I think they need to be put more funding into them, but that's a whole separate conversation, man. They need to be well funded and continually stay up. And shout out, my mother would be mad at me if I didn't say the shout out to Central State. That's her alma mater.
That's it. All the HBCUs. And hey, UFC and whoever's kicking in this money, PFL, you rocking with Africa. Put an MMA program out of HBCU, why don't you, man? Let's see what's really going on. Hey, Francis, tell them that part two. Africa and the students here, because you got a lot of wrestling programs at HBCUs, and these guys can evolve to the next level and probably get them some money. Put them together, man. We know we got beat the streets and the Olympics and all that, but put them in a position to win, man. Real rap. Like there's other.
Hey, can I give a shout out to my sensei too? My sensei in Holland, Ryan Simpson, my absolute legend. Surinamese, amazing guy, man. Simpson Jim in Almeida. You know, that guy's done a lot for me. Another guy that's like I look at like a mentor, OG. Shout out to Powerhouse Phuket there, and then obviously, you know, being Master Lloyd's, man. You know what I mean?
Facts.
You know,
big facts.
I could be shout out to everybody, but then the people I really want to mention, man.
Man, y'all gonna hear from Dorian every week. This was just a sample. Again, he's been on the show before. Now we're not doing the Pretty Left Hook thing. What we're doing is Rhett and Dorian, because we got shit to talk about. Because we're about to let y'all ear hustle and shit. Because y'all really don't understand. It's some things we can tell y'all. You know
they don't know how to rabbit down the rabbit hole these stories to go, man. They don't know about the Don King. They don't know about your boxing scenes. They don't know about what they know about the Zoe pounds, man, and all that, man.
We gonna get into everything, man. We know the Cubans and the Haitians in Miami that's running the cities. We've been known about the underground backyard fighting before George Masvidal became famous. Shout out to George, known him since before. Listen, everything's going down. Shout out to Apache.
Shout out to Ron Foster and Devin Price.
Ron and Devin. Listen, it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of shit being dropped here.
Hey, yo.